Friends, welcome back to the Autry Benton Show. If you joined us yesterday, we're sitting down with Arnold Johnson, and he's told us about his time in being trained a Marine, and he's in California getting ready to go to Vietnam. We're going to pick up the conversation there. But I encourage you, if you missed yesterday, go back and watch it. You'll learn a lot that episode. Arnold, thank you for joining us back, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Good deal. I think where we were at, you were in California, so tell us once jungle training's done and you're ready to go on over to Vietnam.
Well, they actually put us that was going, us 25 plus more, and I don't know how many more, but they actually put us on a commercial airplane.
Okay.
And we flew to Alaska. We never got off the airplane. And I don't know if they fueled up or what they done, but we sit on that airplane for about 30 minutes, maybe an hour at the very most. We took off again and landed in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And never got off the airplane there.
Wow.
And then we took off to Okinawa. When we landed there, we got off the airplane.
You was glad to get off, I imagine.
I sure was. I was tickled to death. It was a good thing they had bathrooms on there.
Yeah.
But we got off at Okinawa, and what we done was we stayed 2 days, or I spent 2 nights there. And they took our duffel bag, which had our clothing in it, mm-hmm. and stored it. In other words, we did not take that with us to Vietnam. And anyway, when we got back on the plane about 2 days later, we flew into Vietnam, and I won't never forget, on the plane, when we got close, the pilot come on the loudspeaker and said that, you know, we've so many miles from Vietnam, we'd be landing in 30, 45 minutes, and made the statement that on occasion we've had bombs, you know, mm-hmm. hit the runway and that kind of stuff during landing and all. And anyway, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm in this airplane and we might get bombed going in there. Might not even make it, you know. But anyway, nothing happened and everything went good. And when I did get there, got off the airplane, they took us on these, what I call cattle cars, mm-hmm. Big deuce and a half, mm-hmm. we jumped in the back of, and we went to this, it had to be something like a receiving barracks, mm-hmm. a receiving area, mm-hmm. and we got there probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that night, I mean, I'm just checking things out and trying to figure out where I might need to go or might want to go later or whatever. Mm-hmm. After we eat, that little old makeshift mess hall they had, mm-hmm. I'm standing outside that tent looking way off, and I had already found out that I was going to a place called An Hoa.
Okay.
Was the name of the base that I was going to. And that place was housing people like me that had just got in country, mm-hmm. but it was also housing people that were on their way home from their tour.
Okay.
And I was talking with one guy who was going home, and I told him where I was supposed to be going, and he told me he had just left there, And I just asked him what direction was that in, because I didn't know no way to get home. I didn't know which way I needed to start walking.
You was thinking about home.
And I didn't want to go home. That ain't why I said that. But anyway.
But that is the goal.
Yeah. But anyway, you could see way off in the distance. I mean, way off. Hear explosions and that kind of stuff. And he said, right there. So I'm thinking to myself, I ain't sure that's where I want to go. If I got to, that's where I will be. And you know, Autry, they still had not issued me a rifle.
Really?
Really. And
I bet you was wanting one pretty bad.
Well, I was wanting one, and mine was wondering why ain't they give me one by now. You know.
Yeah.
And but anyway, we got on them deuce and a halves that next morning, and rode and rode and rode, and it was something. And me being from Autry County, I'm gonna use the term in what I considered a civilized place. I'm riding in the back of this deuce and a half that ain't got no top on it. Well, I ain't never been one to want to know to look at where I had been. I was wanting to look at where I was going.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of looking down the side of the deuce and a half there, looking forward. And now the deuce and a half ain't running 25 mile an hour, or 30 maybe at the most. It ain't going fast. And these Vietnamese people are walking on both sides of the road. I mean, it weren't one right after another, weren't thick really, but it was steady. And I'm looking up there down the road a little bit, probably 100 yards or 150 yards up before we get there, and I see this woman squat down. I'm kind of like, what's she doing? Well, the rate of the vehicle, and by the time we get up there, I finally realized she's having to relieve herself.
Right.
And I'm like, my Lord, I ain't used to seeing this.
This ain't Autry County.
This ain't Autry County, and I thought that was, it kind of blew my mind.
Right.
You know, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But anyway, we finally get to Anwa late that afternoon. When I say late, I'm talking maybe 4 o'clock. And they still ain't giving me a rifle. Well, I'm there, and I got attached to golf company. 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. And the company I was attached to was out in the field. They weren't in what we call the rear. And but anyway, they were supposed to be in. And I reckon it was about 6 o'clock. Of course, the sun's still up. I mean, it ain't even close to dark. And here they come walking in. And that was the roughest bunch of fellers I had ever seen in my life. And as far as me wanting to say a cross word to any of them, that weren't going to happen.
It just weren't going to happen.
Because I didn't know what kind of shape I'd be in after I'd done it.
Yeah.
But that was some rough looking boys. I mean rough. And then that night, they still ain't giving me a rifle, but that night they assigned me to a foxhole with 4 other Marines, and all 4 of them Marines was one of them Marines that had walked in.
Okay.
And I'm I'm the new meat on the block, or the new guy on the block, and I'm in that foxhole with them, and it's big enough for all of us. And we're right there off from that concertina wire around that base camp a little bit, and we supposed to stay there all night, take turns on watch, as you well know. But
they probably made you stay up a little later.
Well, I stayed up all night, but I'm getting ready to tell you why. Me being from Autry County and the time of the times back then, me not knowing nothing about it, I had heard it mentioned and had heard a little bit about it through the news and watching that stuff with them hippies out throughout the country. But a word called marijuana.
Okay.
Anyhow, I got introduced to it that night.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny. Them boys, well, it is now.
Yeah.
It weren't then. But them boys was over there rolling one of them boys rolling one up. And they lit that thing up. He take a puff off of it, and then he hand it to his buddy, and he'd take a puff. He got down to me. I told him I didn't need none of it. I had some Marlboros in my pocket. Anyway, they didn't pay no attention to me. You know, they just kind of laughed it off. And anyway, I'm gonna say about an hour later, them boys was laughing and giggling, and they done smoked about 4 or 5 of them things. And I finally realized what that marijuana was. You know, I thought I knew what it was, but I sure didn't want none of it.
Yeah.
And I stayed up all night while they slept. But I wasn't going to sleep.
Wow.
I wasn't going to trust none of them boys to.
Yeah. Wow.
And I didn't even know them.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. Well, when did you get a rifle?
The next day.
Next day?
I got a rifle the next day. They gave me a rifle. They sure did.
Yeah.
So,
well, how about the first time you went out on patrol?
Well,
if that's the right word to use.
2 days later, from that night, the company went back out to the field. What they didn't do was take me and 2 more guys. A guy by the name of Coppersmith, and a guy by the name of Buck LaCrosse was his last name. And us 3 guys, and I didn't know them before, but we're brand new to the company. We all got there at the same time. And I didn't know neither one of them prior to that. And they actually, and I don't know why they done it, but the company left that morning. Now they left in helicopters.
Okay.
Wherever they were going. Well, that afternoon, they put us 3 in a helicopter. And we flew to where they were at.
Wow. And
why they done that, I don't know, unless they just forgot us. The only thing I could think of. But and us three boys got put in the same squad.
Okay.
And as you know, a squad has to be full capacity is like 13 people. Well, when us 3 got put to the squad we were in, us 3 and 2 more made 5. So, but all the squads were like that, undermanned. And us 3 got to be real good buddies, you know, through our tenure there. So,
wow.
Except one of them, he got killed.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Arnold. Sorry about that. That had to be tough.
And there's a story behind that
Yeah.
later.
Later. I got you. Well, you're a Marine, you're trained, you're there. And listen, this is as much as you want to, Arnold. Is there anything you can tell us about being in combat, being there? I mean, this is whatever you want to, buddy.
Well, I wouldn't wish that combat on anybody. Now, I do feel proud that I was part of that combat, just for the fact of my family, heritage, serving during their time of the country's need, and me serving. Now, I'll say that Vietnam has been a controversial conflict. They never did call it a war, but I'm saying whenever death's involved,
It's war.
it's a war. But that, it's something that I would not want. I'd be proud for them that don't have to go through that,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had combat with individuals slash from a distance slash mostly the Vietnam was booby traps.
Yeah.
And that ain't a combat. That's why that training at Camp Pendleton was so good.
There's a story that you've told me with us having lunch sometime about you wanted to cut your britches off because you were hot and you changed your mind pretty quick. Can you tell me that story?
We were supposed to go on patrol right during the middle of the day, and it over there in where I was at there in Vietnam, it was, I don't know how hot it was that day because nobody had a thermometer or you didn't have the news or the weather channel to turn to, but it was pretty hot. And I decided I was going to take them fatigues I had and cut the legs off of them and
Make you a pair of shorts.
make me a pair of shorts. And I diddy bopping along there, and whenever we went on patrol, we had certain coordinates that we had to go to that would kind of make a circle where you'd end back up where you started from. And on them patrols, we had to designate somebody, and not the same person all the time, but we had to designate somebody had to count the steps that we took till we got to the next point. And anyway, we got that first point, about halfway to the next spot we were supposed to get to. My mind was telling me the whole time, I'm gonna get my legs blowed off just because I ain't got them covered with them britches. And it's kind of funny now, but I was scared to death from the rest of that trip on till we got back that my legs was gonna get blowed off.
Yeah, it's all
And
about.
when I got back, I got rid of them shorts and put me some long britches back on. A long pair of fatigues.
Well, it's all about being protected.
Yeah.
Arnold, you done said, and I'm just going to touch this, but one of the hardest things had to be is losing your fellow Marines or somebody getting hurt. That had to be the worst.
Well, it's awful, and just one story. Old Buck, the one I was telling you about a while ago, that me and him and Coppersmith got to that unit at the same time, and Buck was from Michigan, and he was a heck of a Marine, a good Marine. And Buck told me one morning, and we knew the night before, we were going to be moving from where we were at to another place about 5, 6 miles, maybe 8 miles. And walking. We weren't going in no helicopters or nothing like that. But anyway, we already knew from the night before where in line we were supposed to be walking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that was predetermined. It wasn't, you don't, who's walking point and who's going to be walking first, who's going to be tail end Charlie and all that good stuff. Anyway, I was supposed to be walking third from the front, and he come to me, and he told me, he said, Johnson, he said, I want you to change where we supposed to be in line at.
Mm-hmm.
He said, they got me walking tail end Charlie. He said, and I don't really I don't feel good about it, was what he said. I said, we'll switch. It don't matter to me, you know. So we switched, and we going. Just so happened this boy that was from Columbia, South Carolina, he was actually walking point for the company. And anyway, he tripped a booby trap. And it blowed one of his legs off and maimed another one. And 3 or 4 more got hurt, you know, from the shrapnel stuff. And I'm running to help whoever I might could help. And I hadn't got to nobody to help. And I got to thinking, where's Buck? Because I should have already seen him. You know, the trail I took, which was the same trail he was on, but up in front of me. And anyway, I backtracked, and I probably went about 75, 80 feet. I mean, it weren't that far. And there he was laying in the grass. Anyway, I flipped him over, and a piece of shrapnel had come up under his flak jacket, right at the bottom of it, and hit him right there in the side. And whenever I had opened his flak jacket, and he had on like a t-shirt, because it's so hot, you don't wear shirts. But anyway, I had pulled his t-shirt up, and you could see a little old slit about that wide, them 3 fingers, and there was just a little bit of blood that had come out of it. Not a huge amount or nothing, but it hit something vital in there, and killed him. And see here, I cried, and then I'm not being disrespectful for laughing, but things happen whenever you get under that stress or that situation. But the helicopter had already landed, the medevac, and they had already put 2 guys on that helicopter. And I get up there to the helicopter, and there's a gunner in the side of the helicopter, and they hadn't picked Buck up, and I'm doing my hands like this, Because he'd done lift the skids of that helicopter about that high off the ground like he's leaving. And that gunner's looking at me. Then he gets a little higher, the pilot gets a little bit higher, and I ain't seeing his lips move or nothing, you know, because he got a mic right there on his headgear. Anyway, I pulled that K-bar out, and I weren't throwing at him, but I throwed that K-bar about that far to the left of where he was at, and that K-bar stuck right in the side of that helicopter.
Wow.
And I won't never forget the handle on it was doing this number after it stuck.
That was a good throw.
And anyway, then I seen them lips moving on that on that boy. The helicopter sit right back down.
Wow.
And we put Buck on it, but I won't never forget that. And I cried for probably an hour.
I don't have no words to say for the service that you've given to our country, and in just one day in Vietnam that you walked, that you lost a buddy, that some were hurt and lost his life. I don't know what to say to that, buddy, but just I'm sorry for your loss and thank you for your service.
Well, that's part of life, and that's war.
Yeah.
And we all sorry simply because Buck ain't had the chance to enjoy life the years that I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. And with that being said, I think your era, the Vietnam veterans, didn't come home to a country that I think was grateful enough for y'all what you did. I mean, y'all were doing what your country asked you to do and to stand in the gap. So I just thank you for your service and everybody that served with you. And America's worth it, ain't it, Arnold?
It sure is. And look here, I don't approve of it, but I went over there so that guy that wanted to burn that American flag could burn it.
You fought for the right for him to have freedom.
Right.
That's right. You got a lot more wisdom and things to teach us about life, so I want you to come back sometime and let's talk some more about that.
Well, just call me as long as I'm around.
I'll do it, buddy. But listen, thank you for your service, and thank you for coming here today, buddy.
Thank you.
Folks, come back. I'm speechless after listening to this today, but everyone out there just needs to take their freedom seriously. Think of veteran today and know America is worth fighting for. Please come back next time.